Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel for another interesting video. In today's video, I'm going to share with you something that is really tormenting people in our society, which is not normal, but people tend to normalize it. But I see and I think and I interpret and perceive as something which is not logical. Let me jump into the topic directly. As a man, anytime you want to sleep with a woman, be ready to face the consequences that anything can happen and that lady becomes pregnant. Be ready to take care of the small baby. Because what I'm stating this statement is my problems generalizes a group of people who call themselves disabled. Every time you go in any city in Africa, anytime you visit any city in Africa, and I know it is something global, it is everywhere, it is across the globe. Yeah, like anytime you visit or you go around any city, you'll be surprised seeing women having maybe 4 children or 5 children. Others are even having two, a small baby. Yeah, and they are there asking help from people, asking for money, telling people to give them money. Their family is not well. And my question is, who is the father of your children? I know some people will interpret or they will see this message and they will tend to criticize. We are living in a world where criticism is permitted, and anyone who is criticized, it means that person is doing something which can change even one person or two. Like people who spend their times in streets, or people who spend their time in street or along what asking people for money. For me, that thing is not legal, and the government has to check on it because it is a way of taking advantage of others. It is a way. I know at a certain point in life, someone might be in need. Yeah, it is things that everyone has gone through, and it is things that are really normal. But at a certain point, you have to sit down and evaluate your situation and come out with frameworks which are going to allow you to jump from one step to another. Because these people, they live the same life from January to December, from January of the other year to the other December. Like after years, days, weeks, months, they're living the same life. They have, like, they're taking advantage of people, that being an handicap, which is something which is not good. It is something which is not good, and you need some help from others to, you need people to assist you. But at a certain point, without having your hand, without having your leg, does not mean that you cannot start any business or venture in any activity which can make you a living. I have noticed that I've noticed that everything that people think in Africa is money. They don't think about work. If you knock somebody's door and give him $10,000, that person will shout and they will start living the dream of their life instead of trying how they can multiply or duplicate that money through business. In Africa, they only think the product. They think about the final product. They don't think about the raw materials which constitute a final product. That is how people in Africa think. And my concern is not even about what is the government action towards these people who spend all their days, all their life in street asking for help. The problem is African government in general, they are sleeping. They are discussing big projects, and small projects are the one which are very imperative because it affects the life of millions of people, especially this small project. This big project of building our city to look like New York, to look like Singapore to look like Washington to look like Paris. In Africa, that is not development. And I don't even know how the idea of development to improve or renovate the cities to be shining or to be, that is not development. That is not what we Africans we call development. Yeah, and our leaders are taking us wrong. Let me come to my point. My point is, if you are living with disability, it is not something that people are happy for. I know it is something that really affect your life. It is something that you sleep and you wake up every day, you have a challenge to break through. Like your life is already affected because you don't have your hand, you are blind, you don't have your leg. Yeah, maybe something has happened. Yeah, we don't, even us, once we see it, we are really, we really feel it. It is really hard for us to welcome it. But at a certain point, you have to put yourself out of your comfort zone. You have to say, okay, this is what God has given me. How can I change my situation to be different? Because depending on others, asking them for money cannot change my situation. And I will take another example. Africa is one of the poorest continent by name, and in terms of resources, we are very rich. The World Bank, the UN have been operating in Africa for many years. Which Africa country has the World Bank promoted to, to become the developed country? None of them. The problem is, what I'm trying to conceptualize is, if every day you go out and people gives you 1,000, 100, or 50, or 5,000, the money that people gives you cannot elevate you to live the life of your dream. The only person who can put himself in a position to experience and feel and live the life of his or her dream, it is you. It is you who can take the responsibility of your life and go where you want to go. Like, I know you guys are disabled, you guys have some disabilities, things are not really well. But surprisingly, I met a lawyer who is blind and she's active. She's active. She practices her law. She has clients. Being blind has not stopped her from running toward her goals and achieving her purpose in life, which has been motivated by her passion and her convictions. You somewhere put things because you don't have your hand, because you don't have your leg, because you this thing has happened to you, you cannot feel and enjoy and work hard and reach at the top. You can do that. The only thing is to change the victim mindset which keeps you in one place. Like you have to break throughout your victim mindset and experience a new life. Stop begging money from people. Stop demanding people money because the money those guys give you cannot change your situation. I know you are in a comfort zone, and being in a comfort zone is so sweet because your life, you don't feel any stress, no social anxiety, nothing at all. And my point is this, there is a guy whom I know, he has no leg, but he has been contracted by a construction company to deliver his services. Handicap is a handicap, but he does work with a construction company. You get my point? Like wasting your time in the street, asking people money, asking people for help, especially for these women who are, some are pregnant, some have small babies, and they are all over asking people for help. And for me, at a certain point, I'm really against, especially the pregnant women or those who have small babies of 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or a lot of children, like many children, like five, depending on someone who depend on others, someone whom her life is about begging. At this point, I have to ask you, I have to be sincere and truths with you. Who impregnated you? Who impregnated you up to five children, and you are unable to take care of your family, and you are expecting people out to come and contribute money and give you? I know you can beg money occasionally, but not as a joining, not as a lifetime job. There are some situations in life where you can find yourself asking people for money. You can find yourself in a hot soap and you need people to come and assist you. Yeah, it is critical. Everyone understands that one. But if you change your life to become a beggar, especially these women who has many children, and they are begging. They are going up and down begging people for money. That one is, that one has to change. And if that is your mindset, it has to change. Because there are people with disabilities, there are people who had gone through hardship. They beg money for a certain period of time, and after overcoming those circumstances, they find themselves in a position where they can start something or venture into something and make their own life better, instead of asking people for money every day. And if that is your life, you have to stop it. You have to stop it, because a beggar, being a beggar is one of the worst thing that someone should ever think of. Once you depend on others, once you beg money from others to live a living, once you think like your life has to depend on others, bro, it is not good. You have to step away from that habit and introduce yourself in a direction where you can make a living by your own effort, by your own means, and by your own actions. Yeah, I hope you like this video and you subscribe to my YouTube channel for another interesting video. And message is for you. If you always pity those who are along the street asking for money, at times it is not good. Leave them there, because they have been doing that for, some have been doing that for decades, some have been doing that for more than 20 years, but they are still in the same place. They have chosen that direction. Their life is just about asking people for money. It is not because they are suffering, it's because it has become an habit and they are comfortable in that direction. If you always find yourself giving people money because you think they are suffering, because you see them with many children walking in the street, approach them and ask them, if I give you 100,000, what will you do? Give that person $2,000 and see what will happen. Tomorrow they'll be in the street and they'll be asking people for money. I hope you like this video. And you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos.